Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my physical TBR video for 2024. So it's been probably coming up to a year since my last physical TBR video. At that time I think I had 69 books on my physical TBR. It was in the high 60s. I can double check and put the number on the screen from the end of 2023 and I can link that video as well if you're interested to see how much my physical TBR has changed over the past year. But today it's the 2024 version. I'm filming this as I'm about to move house, so before this physical TBR goes into boxes and gets tucked away until I am able to like unveil the new book room or however long that's going to take, I don't know. So this is where it's at as of right now. I think I'm in the low 60s now. I think the numbers haven't changed too much, but I think they have gone down slightly, so I think we're low 60s, but we will see come the end of the video and what it actually is. So we're going to go down because the physical TBR is on the bottom shelf and a little bit of this shelf here, and go through it all, count it all up. You can let me know which books you think I need to be prioritizing and what I should be getting to in 2025, because I am thinking or starting to think about the series that I want to prioritize next year. And a lot of these you'll notice are first books in series, because I have a problem. I've got a lot of first books, and so that's why it takes me so long to get through them, because I'll read the one book and then I have to go out, buy the second, third one, or however many there are in the series, and then it takes me a while to get back to continue on with the next book to the next first book. So we will just go through them. I have a little chat, have a chatty look at my physical TBR. Before we get into that, I do have a small pile of just some priority things that have been, some of them made their way off the shelf, so they're no longer there, but I have the Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake, and then the Oleander Sword and the Lotus Empire by Tasha Suri. So some just priority sequels and series that I'm going to be working on in the next couple of months, weeks, hopefully. So that's the first three, definitely like top priority, which is why they've somehow made it into a separate pile off the shelf. Right, now we will rejig and go down. Right, here we are. Here we are at the bottom of the bookshelf. This is now read, and one of my big ambitions that I had for this year was that I wanted to get my TBR onto one shelf, and it's not quite happened. It's got better, but I do still have this pile here of TBR books. Previously it was double stacked. Previously there was in the 2023 version, I had a second pile behind this one, and I think some creeping around back here as well. So now it's just this, although I do have those three that I already showed you that were on the floor. So maybe not, maybe it's not got loads better. And then all of this, which is double stacked, bottom shelf. So I think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done on the TBR, but it's a good pile. So I figure we will just start up here. We'll go through this, and then all of these I'll count it up, tell you what the situation is. And yes, okay. So up here I have Best Served Cold by J.R. Crombie. I have the Song Rising by Samantha Shannon. I do actually have somewhere hidden at the back of here this as well. I'll find it actually. Right, we've already attacked that bottom shelf, but I do have the Song Rising twice on my TBR. There is a story to this. Like, I read the Bone Season and the Mime Order many years ago, like 10 years ago, in 2014, 2015, I read them. And I have now collected, and I read obviously the original editions, and I have now collected the new 10th anniversary editions of these ones, but I never read the Song Rising, and I picked this up in the charity shop the other day for like £2.50, bargain for like the new edition. I was like, what is this doing here in perfect condition? But I did already own the arc of the Song Rising from when it came out, so I have owned this book for many years already. So I guess it is one book, because it is just one story. I just now have two editions of this one story, but I feel like I have to keep both, because now I'm collecting these editions and I really hope they do the whole series in these editions, but I can't get rid of this because how many people have an arc of the Song Rising? I do have an arc as well of the Mime Order and my original like weird edition of the Bone Season, but they're tucked away. Bit of a weird tangent there. Right, back up here. The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah in a nice orange sprayed edge edition. The Principle of Moments by Esme Jakimi Pearson. Kavithri by Aman J. Bedi, and I feel really bad because I got this book for review from Glance and I haven't read it. I got it in like May and I should have read it and I haven't read it, and maybe I should. I just filmed my November TBR, but maybe I should be getting to this in November because I should read it before the end of the year. And the final one for up here is The Hand of the Sun King by J.T. Greathouse. So another first book in a series, but that is everything that's up here. I don't think there is anything hiding anymore. No, that is all of my unread books from up here. So I think that has got, you know, it's slightly better. Now moving down here to the shelf that I've already slightly destroyed to get to that second copy of The Song Rising. I guess we'll just work our way through the front and this pile that I've already pulled off. I have The Lost Queen by Sydney Pike, which I've been wanting to do like a Merlin video for ages, not Merlin, a King Arthur video for ages, because I've got quite a few like King Arthur books, weirdly, which I know it's quite a niche thing, but I do have quite a few King Arthur ones, and I would like to do a video of reading my King Arthur inspired stories. I just haven't, and it's been in my like plans for so long, like years, like since I did a Merlin rewatch, and I rewatched Merlin in like 2021. Ever since then I've been like, I should do this. I haven't, and I think this is now concluding, so I need to get into that. I have Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. I also have Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, which I think is the one I'm going to prioritise because this one is now complete. I think this should be in my 2025 priority series because it's now complete. I thought about getting into it this year, didn't, and I have 2 books by her and I just need to see if I like her books. I have Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler. I think this is the first book in the Patternist series, but I think it's one of those series that can be read in a very weird order. And I have Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which is one of, I was about to say, the few V.E. Schwab books that I haven't read, but then I did just show you the Fragile Threads of Power, which I've also not read. But this one I've been waiting for the trilogy to be complete. I feel like I'm going to love it. I just feel like I will, but it's been so long between the releases of this series. I think we've now got some details on that third book, so I'm excited for this one. I think once that third book gets its like publication date, I'm excited to dive into this. I have Daughter of the Blood by Anne Bishop, which is another one I'm excited about. I feel like I'm gonna like this. I feel like it's going to be one of those slightly problematic books, but I feel like I'm going to like it. I have The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman, which is one of the series that I think I could not replace, but like this year I've been reading the Veronica Speedwell series, which has been those like fun, light, historical, mystery, romance books. And I feel like this could fit that same vibe. I think this has the same vibe. And I think this as well is like 8 books and in that similar like shortish length. I don't know if people have read both of them. Does this compare? Does this compare as like that sort of vibe? I think it could. Speaking of Veronica Speedwell, I have the 8th one, Sinister Revenge, which is the final one I have in my collection to read. This one will be done soon. Or I replace it with this one, although it's only a trilogy, A Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss, which also could fit that similar vibe, potentially. Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova, Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope, Under the Pendulum Sun by Jeanette Ing. So that's that pile of books. Continuing on this first layer, I have Talon Sister by Jen Williams, The City of Dusk by Tara Sim, another one that I think could be on my 2025 priority series to read because this one is also concluding next year. And I know it's got mixed reviews. I know it does. I feel like I've seen so many mixed reviews of this, but I just feel like I'm going to like it. I just have a sense I'm going to like this one. And I hope that sense is good. But another one that I think could be a priority to read next year. I have Part 1 and Part 2 in Blood Sanctuary by Bella Roth. I read the first 2 books of these last year in 2023 and I have not got to this one. Well, I did. I started it, but I did not continue it. And I just need to. I do just need to. It just hasn't happened. Another series, this one's a little bit shameful. I should have got to this already. I should have got to it. That is The Lonesome Crown by Brian Lee Durfee. I should have got to this. I should have got to this year. I didn't. I should have got to this in like 2023, but I didn't. And now we are going into 25 and I still have this on my TBR. I do really need to get to this. I do. This one should be a priority for 2025. I reread the first book, The Forgetting Moon, in 2023, in the summer of 2023, then I didn't do my reread of The Blackest Heart. I still need to do that reread, and then I can finally get to this one and finish off this series. It needs to happen. It just needs to happen because I've had this for so long and I've loved the series. It's just hasn't happened. I think one of the heaviest books on my shelf, Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer. So heavy, so big. It's just so heavy. And another book that I was sent this year that I have not read yet, but it is only a duology and it concludes early-ish next year, is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. So if I like this, I could potentially try and read it early next year to then finish it next year when the duology, when the sequel comes out. I just think the cover is so pretty on this one. I do then have another duology that's finishing next year, but I think this one's in the summer of next year, and that is the Jasad Air by Zara Hashem, which I've been really excited about. I just feel like I'm gonna like this. I think I will like this one as well, and it is only a duology, so I just feel like I need to get to this one. Maybe like springtime next year ahead of the finale coming out. It's perfect. I think I might try, now that I've read loads of my standards, I could try and read loads of my duologies next year. Not sure if that's like the best tactic, but it does get through quite a few of my like first books in series. The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Chu, which is the first book in the War Art saga. I think this is a trilogy. I think it might be complete soon. I know the sequel is out, and I'm not sure when the third book is coming out. This one is like a Daphne Press edition with a nice sprayed edge. So I feel like if I do want to like read this, I should probably aim to do it sooner so that I can make sure that I get good editions of the second and third one and that everything matches. Although I found this one like on major sale in foils, and I don't think I've ever found anything on sale in foils, and it's got an absolutely beautiful map in it as well. That is stunning. So pretty. A series that calls to me. It just does. It is, I mean, I should say that about all these books, but it is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. And I just want to read this book. I just do, but I haven't. It's got a nice edge. I think this one's signed as well. Oh, I've got like a random thing. I think they got this at Yalk. Another nice looking map. I love a map. I was actually at this discussion with John Gwynn and Tasha Suri and James Logan last night, and they were talking about maps. And there's a disagreement on people that like do and don't like maps. But I am definitely team map. I love a map in a fantasy book. I would like to get to this. I think the sequel's coming out early-ish next year. I know it's a trilogy, but I feel as though I want to get to this soon. I do. Another one that I would really like to get to soon, oh god, oh dear, is The Will of the Many by James Islington. I've read the Lycanes trilogy. I actually have a review of that, so I can like link that. But I feel like I'm gonna love this. I think I've said that for a few of these. I feel like I'm gonna love this book, and I just haven't read it yet. But I really want to. I'm just really annoyed with what they've done with this like special edition, which I was fine with them putting a special edition out. But why is it now that they've actually said, oh no, the rest of the series is going to match the bonus special edition? What was wrong with these covers? This cover's beautiful. Can I have a matching set like this? I don't need a bonus deluxe edition. But I would really like to get to this at some point. But I know from reading Lycanes trilogy that I don't want to read it too soon, because that series is best to binge like back to back to back, and I can't do that right now with this because the rest of the series is not out. Oh, a few things that I feel like could be priorities as well for 2012. Everything's a priority. Everything's a priority. But I think this was in my like unhaul self-destruction books, and that is The First Sister by Linda A. Lewis, which is a sci-fi trilogy which is now complete, so I feel like I should get to this. And one that will be completed next year is The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitten. I actually thought about wanting to read this soon because it feels like the right time of year for it. It just gives me October, November, gothic, autumnal vibes. But it hasn't happened, but maybe it should. Maybe it should. And one more I'm waiting on the finale to come out before I start my reread and read this one is Hellbent by Lee Bardugo, the second book in the Ninth House series. So just being patient on this one because it took so long for this to come out and I know I need to reread. Onto the back shelf. A couple of YA. Again, I do want to prioritise reading my YA. It's a hard balance between reading things that you're so excited about, reading with the backlist TBR, but I do want to prioritise reading the YA before I get too old for it. I'll feel like I've outgrown it and then wish that I'd read it sooner and regret that I didn't. Some sort of juggling act that needs to be done. But a couple of them that I have are Furyborn by Claire Legrand, which is the first book in a trilogy, and I have The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell, which is the first book in a quartet, and I think both of these are YA series that are complete, that could be good for me to dive into. I just forget about them on this like back shelf. Right. That did not go to plan. I have a whole series here. I have the Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell. I've had this for a few years. I have The Winter King, Enemy of God, Excalibur, and I do want to read these. They're highly recommended. They're historical fiction, you know, Merlin, King Arthur inspired fiction. I didn't actually start this one, but I didn't get very far, decided I wasn't in the mood at the time. I got 14 pages in, so I feel as though I didn't really start it, but I do want to read this. Sticking on the mass markets, I have Temeraire by Naomi Novik, one of the few Naomi Novik books that I have not read, but I haven't read any of this series. This was like a really old edition that I picked up at a local used bookshop. Now they've got like really nice editions of this, so I feel as though if I like this, I can go out and buy all 8 of them in a nice set. But I need to give this a try first. I also have Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan, the first book in the Legends of the First Empire series. I just haven't read any Michael J. Sullivan. I think I will like him. I think I will like his books. I just haven't read any of them yet. And I picked this one up on holiday in Chicago, so it has like that nostalgia feeling to me now. Right, one that I feel everyone will tell me that I should read, and I should have read years ago, and I have not read it, is Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb, the first book in the Live Ship Trader trilogy and part of the Farseer trilogy. No, not the Farseer trilogy, the Realm of the Elderling, that's it. I read the first book in the Farseer trilogy, The Assassin's Apprentice. Wasn't a massive fan, but I do want to give her another try with this one. So Ship of Magic, it is just quite daunting, it's very long. I have The Black Coast by Mike Brooks, another start of the series. I have another standalone, but this one, again, feeling the like Merlin King Arthur, I have Lancelot by Giles Christian, but this one is a standalone, so one of my few standalones that I have left, because standalones get read literally like consistently and quickly when they come in, but this one, I think I've spoken about this before, it just looks like an average size book. I would have said this is like 400 pages. This is not 400 pages. This book is deceptive. This book is 657 pages or something. Like, how is that like over 650 pages? How? And I also have the first book in the Keeper of Lost City series by Shannon Messenger, which I think is concluding next year, but it's a middle grade series with many books in it. Sticking on King Arthur, I do have Legendborn by Tracy Dion. So, you know, I've got some very different styles of interpretation of King Arthur, but this is a YA fantasy series that has that. I wonder if this one's concluding next year as well. I know the second book came out quite a while ago, but I've been putting this off because when it came out, it had so many good reviews. And then I was like, I shouldn't read this yet because I feel like I'll forget things. So it's best if I wait until it's complete and then binge, but it's still not complete. And now we're into some more of my like epic fantasy series. I have the Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams, the first book in Memory, Sorrow and Thorn, which is a big daunting series, which I also apparently started and read 15 pages of, but never continued on. And this has got some beautiful editions that have just come out from the broken binding. I have the Gutter Prayer by Gareth Hanrahan and The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch, which I also started and got like 60 pages into this one, and then COVID happened and I just wanted light and I never continued. But I don't know how many books are meant to be in this. I don't know if the 4th book is the finale, and that I think is going to be coming out soon, because it's been like stuck at 3 books for ages. So do I like start actually prioritizing this if that 4th book is the finale, or is that 4th book not a finale? I don't know. I have Empire in Black and Gold by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, one of my oldest, I think, books on my TBR, because I bought this many years ago from a charity shop and I haven't read it yet. Because I've been waiting for that 3rd book to come out, but that 3rd book is just never coming out. It's just never going to happen. So this book just stays like indefinitely on my TBR, but I do have this. And I have the Ember Blade by Chris Wooding, the first book in, I'm guessing, a trilogy. I know the sequel is out, but another chunky one. Okay, and then we're on to the final pile. I have The Gifts of Reading, some essays on the joys of reading, giving and receiving books. So I think they're just some like short, not stories, short essays from different authors. I should actually just read this or like read a story every so often, and I haven't, but I should. My mum got this for me. I think it's really pretty. It's just sat here for ages. I have Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker, the first book in another trilogy. A trilogy that's not meant to be a trilogy. I think this was meant to be a lot more books, and then I guess things went wrong and suddenly it's only a trilogy. I have The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant in this art format, but it's been a long time since this came out and there hasn't been any news on the rest of it. I have Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard, the fourth book in this series, and this is a series I definitely want to prioritise for 2025 because I've read the first three and the novella many years ago. I want to reread, get to this, and then the fifth book is coming out. I think it's now November. I think it got pushed again. It was going to be spring, now it's November or end of the year, and so I would love to get this off of my like ongoing series list because it's been on there for so long. I need to reread. I've loved it, but finally this book's gonna have its time because I've owned it since it like came out and I haven't read it because I've been waiting for the series to finish. I have The Emperor's Blades by Brian Staveley. I have Peace and Turmoil, The Dark Shores by Elliot Brooks. And finally, I have The Stone Knife by Anna Stephens, the first book in Songs of the Drowned, which is also a completed series now. So I would like to, maybe get to this one. But it's so hard to prioritise. Anyway, that is the final book. So that is everything on my physical TBR. I feel like I've been a little bit chatty this time around. I think in the past ones, I have been a bit like book, whereas now I've spoken loads of random bits and pieces about the books without really giving any information about them. So that is my pile. I will now count this up and let you know how many there are, and we'll see if it's gone down over the past year. Okay, counted it twice to double check. I have 62, which I think was what I was expecting, like low 60s. So I have 62 books here on my TBR pile, and I'm pretty sure I was at 69 last year. So I think I've gone down marginally, but that is still down. So it's gone in the right direction, just very slowly. So I have not met my goal because I have not got it off this shelf, and I have not got it to 50 because I think 50 was my target for last year. I did not make it. I made a much more of a dent last year because I got it from like 90 something to 69. And this year I've not made it so far, but it has still gone in the right direction because it's not gone up. There we go, 62 books. It's a lot less than some people, but it's a lot more than some other people. Let me know which books I should be prioritising, where I should go with this stack of books. These are now going to get boxed away. If anyone has any ideas for like how I could do like a fun TBR style thing with like the TBR being in a box, all the books being in a box, how I can like manage that. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. And what I should prioritise. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!